All right. Now, in previous shows, we talked about, what's the record going to be for Rutgers this upcoming year? Today, we're not going to talk about whether they're going to win or lose. We're going to predict the individual player statistics for the major players on that Rutgers offense in each of the 12 games. And I suspect Gabe and I will disagree on a few, but it should be a very interesting discussion.
Yeah.
Gabe, we're going to start off here with Ohio. The opening game of the season, Ohio, in Piscataway. I've got a prediction about how Athan's going to perform, but let's start with you.
So I was just laughing at Austin's comment because KFC sponsored.
Gabe's not going anywhere. He's staying right here with me. Enough of this nonsense.
Man. So I originally wrote for this first game 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 INT, but I'm getting a little more confident about that game. Now, I don't think Adam gives Ohio enough respect for their end of the year last year. They went on a 7-game winning streak, and they're a respectable football team. They are a very respectable football team, okay? They're at least above average, and you have to give them that.
Who did they beat? The University of Ireland?
I mean, it's D1 competition, right? There's only 134 schools that have a football team. There's a lot more that have basketball and baseball teams. So with that being said, I respect Ohio, but I went from 246 yards to 317. That's just a number that feels right to me. I originally said that we might struggle and lose that game, but I'm changing my prediction to a 29-28 win. We won't make predictions for every team because we already did that, but I am changing that one. And Athan is going to have himself a week 1. DT is going to get himself 108 and 2 TDs, and it's going to be a great game.
Well, I think that is terribly disrespectful to Mr. Sheffield. His name is TD Sheffield, and he's going to lead the Scarlet Knights in touchdowns. I'm not too far away from you on this one. In all seriousness, Ohio is a respectable team. I've got Athan Kaliakmanis going 17 of 27 for 218 yards in this game with 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for Rutgers' first win. And I've got Antoine Raymond going over 100 yards.
Ooh, okay. See, I kind of think the running backs will be like split even between him and CJ. And you can even throw Jay Sean getting maybe 4 or 5 carries himself. Yeah, I mean, I think they all get around 40, 50 yards. Maybe Jay Sean gets like 25 or 30.
You might be right on that one. Now, we have to stay in the state of Ohio, of course. Yeah. Miami of Ohio. I always get concerned about teams that are named after cities that are in a different state. Miami is in Florida. No, we have Miami of Ohio. I think Miami of Ohio is actually going to give Rutgers a competitive game.
I do not.
You do not. No. I think it's going to be – I think Rutgers pulls it out. I think Athan goes 16 of 29 for 239 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception. I think this is the game where C.J. Campbell goes over 100 yards.
See, I just don't believe they have great pass rushing, really. And I think that he's going to have a lot of time in the pocket and a lot of ways to get out of the pocket if need be. So I have him similar. I have him going for 230, getting a touchdown, no picks, and I have him rushing for 80.
Awesome.
It's going to be a game. It's going to be a running game. But when he does have the option to pass, I think he'll have a few seconds to really think about it. And that's why, even though he's going to get that 230, I think he'll do it in a high percentage.
I'm with you. I think you're right on there. So why don't you take the next game, because I'm still suspicious that this school even has a football team, but you can handle it. There's Norfolk State. Have you ever heard of Norfolk State?
I have, but I've only heard of them because of March Madness. They were in March Madness, and they didn't look great, but there was a guy from Rider University that played, so all of us Rider fans. Yeah, it was me. It was actually me. This is just a side gig. I play in March Madness every year. I have infinite.
He was a Rider grad, a proud graduate of that great New Jersey school.
Oh, just fantastic, and totally not bankrupt within the next 10 years. But I think it's going to be an ugly blowout. I mean, not loss, by the way, win. I'm talking we might shut them out because we have a good defense, Muhammad, I'm really hoping you stay with us because you're going to be a starter no matter what. You're going to be a leader, and these guys respect your seniority. They respect that you've been here for 4 years. If you do stay, I have you getting a forced fumble and a fumble recovery and possibly going a distance with it. Okay, so look, my prediction for this, and we all get one outlandish prediction, right? 1 or 2 per year. I'm saying 38-0. I don't think they're scoring a thing, and I think we're scoring 38 on them.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with you. Muhammad, grow up, would you? Grow up. All right, you go on social media with this tweet, then immediately you're deleting it. You don't know what the hell you're doing. Stay off social media, relax. The grass ain't greener on the other side. Stay with Rutgers. We want you here.
You're going to scare off everyone we try to get on, man.
That's right. That's right. Hey, look. At some point, it's like you don't want to come on. We don't want you on. We're not going to be the ugly. We're not going to be the ugly girl at the dance. So now, Gabe, here's the turning point.
Okay. Don't say we're losing.
Home against Iowa. Game 4.
That's going to be crucial.
That's going to be the game of the year. And as far as Norfolk State, I had Kaliakmanis going 15 of 20 for 312 yards with 4 TDs, no interceptions. But Iowa comes in with an Iowa defense.
Yeah.
They're going to be hungry, and it's going to be kind of like that Nebraska game. Are we going to turn in the right direction or the wrong direction? I'm predicting Rutgers' first loss of the season, 19-13. Kaliakmanis, 14 of 29 for 188 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception.
Yeah, I mean, I want to believe that Kaliakmanis has taken this huge leap forward. But, I mean, when you look at him historically, his accuracy has been up and down. And against a tough defense like that, it's going to be a struggle for him. I'm going the same thing around that 14 of 30, rather, passing. I don't think he's getting any touchdowns. I think it's going to be 1 special teams touchdown and 1 rushing. And I think he's going to get an interception too. And I think we're going to lose. I think like 14 to, like 20 or 24. If it's within a good range, I'll take it. I want to see.
Why don't we go to Piscataway together for that one? Because I'll be in New Jersey. Let's go, Root. Yeah. And let's have an episode right outside of Shea Stadium because
maybe we can get some media passes for it.
Yeah, and that game could turn around Rutgers' season. They can win the game.
Yeah.
Will they? At this point, I'm not so sure. But then after that, we go on the road for the first time against PJ Fleck and the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. What's your thoughts?
My thoughts is Minnesota is a lot better of a program than I've previously anticipated. If we win against Iowa 13-3, that would be a very ugly but appreciated win, Austin. But with Minnesota, I think we're going to lose that game too, unfortunately. I have it at 27-30. They're very good at staying in games, and given our terrible luck last year, I can really see Minnesota having a last-minute comeback, throwing a nice touchdown, giving us our heartbreak, the yearly Illinois game, if you will, 27-30. And I think that it's going to be an Athan game. He's going to have a good game. I think 278 yards sounds good. 3 touchdowns sounds good. An INT. And I think he'll have a good 30, 40 yards rushing. The issue is that he's going to be scoring quick, and Minnesota's going to take a long time downfield, and they're going to score every time. So I think they're just going to outlast us, and whoever has the ball last wins. I think Minnesota will have the ball last.
Yeah, well, that's a great analysis. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think Minnesota wins at 26-23. I've got Athan going 19 of 37 for 212 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Now, he's going to have some great games. I think he's going to make some great strides. I don't think it's going to happen against Minnesota. That's Rutgers' second loss of the season, in my view.
I agree. And we're taking a little bit more of a realistic approach here, aren't we? Because last time we both predicted 10-3 for different reasons.
Yeah, and after studying the program and thinking a lot about it, especially given the next game that's coming up. Now, I spent a few days in Seattle several years ago. Very nice, very hilly, but very nice. They had the best macaroni and cheese I ever had at a place called Vaughn's. Well, Rutgers is going to have to fly out to Seattle, Washington, 6-hour flight against the Huskies. And you know what? Washington Huskies Stadium is deceptively loud. Beautiful place to play, loud place to play, hostile place to play. I think Rutgers loses this one by a touchdown, 27-20. Athan goes 15 of 30 for 178 yards with 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth about this one. I don't want to admit that we'll lose this game because you go down the schedule, it's a tough schedule. And if you say we're losing against Minnesota and Washington, then what's our luck going to be against Oregon, against Illinois, not in the same tier, but gave us a fight last year and won, against Maryland, and then obviously Ohio State and Penn State. And because of that, I think we're going to give our all here because we're 2-2. And at 2-2, you're not necessarily out of the playoffs. You're very unlikely to be in the playoffs, but you're Coach Shiano, right? And everyone on board is going to instill in these guys that you got to go undefeated to make the playoffs, and a win starts this week. I think we're going to win this one because of our coaching, lighting a fire under these guys' asses, and we're going to win 30-24, a little role reversal of the Minnesota game, if you will. With Athan, he might struggle. I think he's going to get around 178, 180, going to get a touchdown, 2 INTs. He might run for 60, 70 yards, though, and that running committee, I think CJ is going to take a big leap that game, and he might go for 115, 120.
I hope you're right. If so, Rutgers would still only be at 2 losses with a 4-2 record. And then they come back to Shea Stadium in beautiful Piscataway to face those Ducks, who are going to be
today. No green.
No green today. Thank God. It ain't easy being green, I got to tell you. But those Ducks are going to be looking to quack in Piscataway. Look, I've thought about it. And I've come to the conclusion that Oregon's got too much firepower.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got Oregon winning this game 37-24. Athan goes 22 of 41 for 277 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception. The running backs all average under 3 yards a carry.
3, oof. So you're saying we're putting up 24 somehow with that production from Athan and the running backs?
Yeah, we'll put up 17 and get a late garbage score to make it 24.
Fair enough. Yeah, I agree with the Athan stats, and we are going to lose that one. I'm hoping it's close in the third quarter, and with like one of those fighters' chances in the fourth quarter. Obviously, it's college football; anything can happen. They're not quite Ohio State, but they're going to be a playoff team, and it's just a matter of where in the playoffs. I think we're going to lose that game 30 to about 17.
That's a fair prediction. Well, I'll tell you, I lived for 4 years in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and not too far from there is West Lafayette, Indiana, and the Purdue Boilermakers. I think Rutgers goes on the road to West Lafayette and pulls out a win against an engineering school. And I think Athan has a really efficient game, one of his best of the year. I think he goes 20 of 29 for 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yeah, I think he puts on a display.
I
think over 300 yards. And he might have his most touchdown passes of the year. I'm saying 4. He might have 4. I mean, he might have a 6 touchdown game for all we know, but I'm saying he has 4 that game.
Yeah. And you know what? Athan's going to have some games this year where you're going to walk away saying, this guy's NFL material.
Yeah.
The question is how consistent he's going to be. But in this game, I think he shines.
I mean, both Adam and I will say at some point come the fall that he is an NFL caliber quarterback, and both of us will say at some point this guy will never come close to the NFL. So, I mean,
he's
that's
got the tools, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
All I would say is go back to the USC game of last year. In the third quarter, he threw a dart into coverage. That was an NFL throw, and it's like sometimes you don't need so much quantity to evaluate a player when they have plays of such high quality. And he showed he has the tools. Whether he's going to be consistent and sustain that, we'll see. But I'll tell you something, Gabe. I don't have good thoughts about the next week after that. Going to Champaign, Illinois, another city named after a drink. Champaign, Illinois. Illinois is going to have a great team this year. I think it's too much for Rutgers. I think Rutgers loses this one 30-21. Athan goes 18 of 31 for 206 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception.
I think both of us said last predictions episode that we would win this game. And I think now both of us are saying we're going to lose. I think
Yeah.
last episode we let our emotions and the pure rage of the heartbreaking year that was get to us. And it's going to be a similar loss. We're going to stay in it, and it's going to be somewhat of a battle on offense. But, I mean, they got a lot of good transfers, especially in the winter. And I'm saying it's going to be around 24-30. I think Athan's going to play fine. Maybe 180 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, maybe 2 interceptions, and he'll get some rushing yards this game too. But we're not going to win. I'm not going to say we're not going to win. I don't think we're going to win. It's definitely a game we can win, and if we have enough emotion going into that game, we will win. But who's to say we have enough emotion when most of the defense isn't there and most of the top guys on offense aren't there?
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, I'll tell you, on the heels of that loss, the city of Baltimore has never impressed me. I'll tell you why. Because there's nothing really great that happens there. There's a few good things, and that's it. But that college from Baltimore, Maryland, is going to come to Shea Stadium. I think Rutgers comes out with a big victory here, 34-17 over the Maryland Terrapins. And here, I think Athan goes 26 of 40 for 260 yards with 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
Did your cat just say meow or no?
It said, "I love you, Adam. You are the best," and I tend to agree.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard. I just wasn't sure.
Wasn't speaking to you, Athan.
I'm going to clip that and say Adam's message to Athan and post it on our YouTube. I'm going to say this. I think this will be Athan's best all-around game. I'm saying he's going to have a crazy high percentage passing because this is going to be the last chance he gets to put on a lights-out performance before he faces the 2 juggernauts of the Big Ten. So, with that being said, he's going to have 26 completions. I agree with you there. But take out that 40 whatever you said and make it 26 of 33. And
all right.
He was 26 of 33. But 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'm thinking, does he get an interception? And the answer is no, he doesn't, because nobody knows what the hell a terrapin is unless you do your research. So
I don't want to do any research upon that. I don't like the name. It makes me feel weird.
I will say terrapin turtles are very cool to look at. The shells are sick. But if you don't feel like doing your research on what a terrapin is, you won't know. But Athan will know one thing when he gets on that field. All he's going to see, it's not terrapins, it's success. So 26 of 33, 3 touchdowns, big fat donut for interceptions. And we're going to win that one 46-27.
Nah, that's good analysis. All right. Well, I never liked Columbus Day, but I do like Columbus, Ohio, because I went to school there at The Ohio State University. We're going to be going away into the Horseshoe. And I'll tell you something, Ohio State's going to lose some players from last year, but they're still going to be a juggernaut. I think Ohio State takes this game 40-17 over Rutgers. However, I think Rutgers is competitive in the first half. I think Athan goes 13 of 35 for 162 yards.
Oh, goodness.
162 yards. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Now,
oh, man.
I will say this. That 13 of 35 is going to seem deceptive because he's going to make some good throws in the first half. He's going to have a pretty good first half. Rutgers is only going to be down by 7, no more than 10 in the first half. But Ohio State's too much talent, too much depth. They're going to pull away in the second half. So people walk away saying, Rutgers was pretty competitive, but just too much Ohio State.
So you're basically what you're saying is his percentage is going to get screwed because down 21, down 14, 4th and 7, 3rd and 20, he's going to be looking long and missing. Is that what you're saying?
He's going to have to press, and they're going to get predictable because they're going to be behind.
Okay.
And that's never good for a quarterback. So I'm not saying Athan's going to have a horrible game, but I think the circumstances of the game are going to lend to a low completion percentage.
All right. That's a little more respectable because coming off just saying 13 of 35, that made my jaw drop because that's not a number you see very often.
Well, what game did he have a less than 50% completion percentage last season? I believe it was Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think so.
So,
yeah. I think we're going to be playing a lot closer with Ohio State than a lot of critics will give us justice for. And
Right.
part of why I say that is because of the guy lined up on Jeremiah Smith. I think Cam Miller, all year, he's going to be playing lights out, but this is the game where everyone's going to realize who the F he is, because it's going to be on ESPN or NBC, whatever it may be, and everyone's going to be watching Ohio State, and they're going to be saying, Jeremiah Smith only has 2 for 18 at half. Who the hell is guarding him? And then they're going to see that guy's name, and they're going to say, oh, the Penn State guy. You know what? I like him. I think he has a good chance in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cam Miller's going to do a fantastic job. But you know what? When you're covering someone like Jeremiah Smith, it only takes a few times to get burned throughout that game. And I think Jeremiah Smith will have his plays.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying he won't. He doesn't have a chance to get 10 for 178, 2 touchdowns. I'm saying the first half, he's going to get 2 for 18, maybe 3 for 27 at most. I'm feeling like that 9 yards per catch ratio is pretty crisp because he's not going to get the deep ball that he wants. But with that being said, down 14-10 at half, and I agree with Adam here. Third quarter, they're going to score 21 on our heads. We're not going to score a thing, and we're going to lose this game 30. I'm saying if it's 35-10 after the third quarter, we're going to take a garbage time touchdown each, and we're going to lose 42-17. And Athan, he's going to get not 13 for 35. I'm going to say 20 for 45.
And after the game, if you separate into your own show, he's going to come out to my show.
All right. If that's the case, then I'll suck up my pride and admit I was wrong. But I don't see it, man. He's I don't know if this is the right marketing approach or the right pitch to him. You might not necessarily be a salesman. I'm not a salesman, but you're selling yourself at all times, right? And when you're saying to him, look, man, you're not invited. You're not a great quarterback at times. I don't know if that's the right pitch.
I've never said he's not a great quarterback. I've said that he has the potential to play in the NFL, that we support him, we love him, and we want him to be successful. And he's still disinvited, though.
Salty. Okay.
Yeah, I'm in a bad mood today, Athan.
Well, you know what will make you in a really bad mood? A loss to Penn State at home.
Oh, gosh. I'll tell you something. I've thought about this game. Gabe, listen, I am not a fan of Drew Aller. That interception against Notre Dame, totally inexcusable. Didn't do anything against Ohio State and Happy Valley. But the truth is, Drew Aller is still a good quarterback, and Penn State still has one of the best defenses in the country. I think Penn State wins this game 23-16, and I think Athan goes 16-36 for 201 yards with 2 touchdowns and 2 INTs.
Yeah, it's a fair assessment. I didn't want to admit that we lose to them last time, but we lose to them. But I think we keep it close. I'm saying we lose to them 21-27, and that's a respectable game out of us. I don't even want to say what our final record will be if what we say goes correct. The only game that we have different is the Washington game. But this week, or this last week rather, we're going to lose them 21-27. I think it's going to be a quarterback duel. I'm saying Athan gets 348 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and that interception is going to be the one that costs us because it's going to be when we have the ball down 6 with 2 minutes to go.
I hope so. I mean, because, Athan, in all seriousness, we really respect you and we love your talent, and we hope that it's a better season than we're predicting. But as it stands now, I've got Rutgers going 5-7. You've got them 6-6.